afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for being here today. It is after much reflection and careful consideration, I am announcing today that I will not be seeking re-election as president of the Métis National Council. When I was elected as president in September of 2021, the Métis National Council needed significant rebuilding as a national Indigenous organization. From the outset of my term, I committed to leading this period of change and transition. And now, 3 years later, I am proud of what we've accomplished. We have transformed the Métis National Council into a transparent, accountable, and effective national Indigenous organization. We have re-established relationships within the Métis Nation with our colleague national Indigenous organizations, the AFN and ITK, with the federal and provincial governments, and with Canadians. Most importantly, we have restored the credibility and reputation of the Métis National Council, both nationally and internationally. We have evolved the Métis National Council into an institution that serves our Métis governments, just as our original founders intended. We have embedded collaboration into every aspect of our work, highlighting the critical issues facing the Métis Nation and seeking innovative solutions to close socioeconomic gaps. And we have shared the beautiful stories and diverse stories of the Métis Nation. I am really proud of the Métis National Council that we have built, and I am confident in leaving behind a strong, functioning, and ethical organization with exceptional and dedicated staff for the next generation of leaders to come. As the youngest elected person to serve as president of the Métis National Council, I'm proud to carry forward the legacy of young Métis leaders who have served at our nation's highest offices at a young age. And as the first elected woman to hold this office, I am also proud to stand in a matrilineal line within the Métis Nation, reinstituting Métis women's voices into every aspect of our leadership. Despite facing challenges, similar challenges, as other women leaders in this country, I remain undeterred. Strong, diverse voices of all generations are needed at all levels of leadership within this country to influence the positive change that the Métis Nation and Canada deserve. As we continue to advance the aspirations of our ancestors, building a prosperous future for the next generation of Métis, I transition from this role knowing that the future of the Métis Nation is in good hands. It has been the honor of a lifetime to serve as the president and national spokesperson for the Métis National Council and to dedicate the last 3 years in service to our Métis Nation. And while I intend to continue serving in new ways, it is time for me to redirect my dedication and my time to my growing family. I have incredible hope for our Métis communities and our next generation of Métis citizens. And I'm very happy to announce today that I am expecting my first child and will soon be helping to bring that next generation of proud Métis into this world. So in accordance with our bylaws at the Métis National Council, the leadership has set the election date for the president of the MNC to be held on September 26, 2024 in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. While I am early in my pregnancy, I believe it's responsible to make this announcement today to ensure that there's time to work towards an orderly transition at the Métis National Council. So with that, I want to thank my family, my Board of Governors at the Métis National Council, the outstanding staff at the MNC, and countless Métis citizens for their kindness and support over the years. I remain steadfast in my commitment and my responsibilities to the Métis National Council until the election and beyond. I am proud to be Métis. I love our nation. I love our people. And I have faith in the bright future awaiting the Métis Nation. It is critical to stay united as Métis people. It's through unity that the Métis Nation will achieve the dreams of our ancestors. Thank you very much.
Hi, Fraser from U10 National News. There has been some recent, I guess, fighting in the across Canada, the Métis Nation. You're aware of with the Bill C-53 and the Identity Fraud Summit held last week in Winnipeg. Did this have anything to do with your decision or weigh upon it?
No, this doesn't have anything to do with my decision. As many people will know, the Métis Nation has been fighting for generations, amongst themselves with the Government of Canada. We are a fighting people. It has been challenging, of course, to find ways to unite Métis people during this time. However, I'm proud of the work that we've done to unite our Métis governments, to unite a lot of Métis people through stories and events that have taken place in the last 3 years, especially, the papal visit and bringing Métis survivors over to Rome to share their stories. I feel that was one of those really critical moments where not only Métis people were united, but First Nations, Métis, and Inuit were united in sharing a goal together and doing that work together. I'm proud of some of that work that we have done, but that does not play into my decision to not seek re-election.
And I just thought as a follow-up, of course, there is a lot of discussion about Bill C-53 and its future. What do you think its future is, or is it, do they have to go back to the drawing board, I suppose?
So I'm not entirely clear on what the next steps for Bill C-53 will be. Our Métis governments, Métis government of Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Ontario are working closely with the Minister of Cernak to determine what those next steps will be. And I believe they're having discussions this week, and hopefully we will have a path forward for C-53. And then also just the new direction that, some of our Métis governments, including the Métis Nation Saskatchewan, are taking to pursue self-government. And, I'm still around for the next 4 months, and we'll be supporting our Métis governments in that pursuit for self-government.
And Alessia here with the Canadian Press, congratulations.
Thank you.
What do you see as the future of the Métis National Council? Kind of off of what Fraser said, there was the Identity Summit last week. MNS pulled out of the bill. What do you see going forward for the organization?
So I always refer back to, the leaders who brought together the Métis National Council 41 years ago, and the original purpose of bringing together one strong Métis national voice to have both nationally and internationally. And that's what's grounded me over the last 3 years, is recognizing that, 41 years ago, there was time and there was need for one strong voice at the national level. That's what's carried the Métis National Council through to today. I still stand firm that, we are one nation. There is one Métis nation. Of course, we have many Métis governments who are pursuing, their priorities at their own speed and with their own direction. But we all face common challenges. We all face common priorities that we can be working together on. We have spent the last 3 years reforming the Métis National Council to ensure that it's working for our Métis governments, to be able to create processes where we can find those areas of common priority so that we can continue collaborating on. The Métis National Council is not a Métis government. It is a federation of Métis governments, and it has its place here in Ottawa. It has its place nationally. It has its place within the Métis Nation to continue to be that convener of our Métis people politically.
And to talk about the Identity Fraud Summit last week, I know that MNO sent out some comms about what they were calling misinformation in there. What was your reaction to everything that was said over the 2 days?
So we put out a statement at the beginning of the identity conference, and we'll just continue to reiterate that there is work being done at the Métis National Council right now. It is not upon one Métis government to determine the identity of an Indigenous nation. This needs to be a discussion that is held at the nation level. That is our right as an Indigenous peoples, and we'll continue to do that work and do it in good faith with our Métis governments.
We have a question on Zoom. Mr. Lee, please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for taking my question. Shaoli Lee from City News. Congratulations, of course. My question is unrelated to your announcement, but does concern the Métis people. Can I ask your opinion on the RCMP adopting the ribbon skirt as part of its dress uniform?
So we don't have a formalized position on that yet. Of course, this is new news to have broken. The RCMP did not consult the Métis National Council in this. We have done work with the RCMP in the past to identify when it is appropriate for Métis RCMP members to wear a sash in their ceremonial uniform, as well as the development of an RCMP-specific Métis sash. So, you know, at this point, we don't have a formalized position on it. But in one way, you know, to be able to show pride and culture is something that this country needs, and supportive of being able to support individuals who choose to show their culture proudly.
And as a follow-up, there's of course been a great deal of, let's call it skepticism about this move, given the role of RCMP in things like residential schools and other aspects of Canada's colonial project. Do you feel that the concerns that have been expressed along those lines are well-founded?
Absolutely. I absolutely agree that there are significant concerns with, you know, both historic and current practices that the RCMP have employed on Indigenous peoples, and some lack of commitment to Indigenous specific issues such as missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. For the Métis National Council, we are working towards a sub-accord on community safety and justice. It includes those certain individuals from public safety, but also from the RCMP to identify better ways of how the RCMP can be working with the Métis Nation within our communities and with our people. And so that is our pathway forward to find positive solutions to hopefully reforming a system that hasn't always been so positive for our people.
Like, who, I don't know if you'll mention a name of someone who you would like to succeed you, but what characteristics should they have to be leading this organization?
That's a great question. And, you know, throughout the history of the Métis National Council, I don't think that there has been a time where, you know, there's been a 4-month lead up where, you know, myself saying that I'm not running. So this allows time for interested candidates to come forward, to meet with our Métis governments. They have to be nominated by one of our Métis governments. For the Métis National Council, you know, like I said, there is so much more work left to be done. However, we have set up an incredible secretariat for the new leadership to come in. We have incredible staff who will be able to support with the transition. For me, you know, what I hope to see is continued dedication to the nation. As a young person and somebody who will be bringing in the future generations of the Métis Nation, we need to continue to do this work to ensure that the Métis Nation moves forward in a good way and that we're finding unique ways of implementing the dreams and the aspirations of our ancestors. So there's a lot of work left to be done. This work takes significant dedication, significant time, and I look forward to those who are interested in running to put their names forward and to start having this conversation so we can make informed decisions.
If you are on Zoom and would have one more question, please use the raise hand function. Yeah, go ahead.
I know that you're having a baby. What do you see next for yourself personally?
I love the Métis Nation. My whole career has been dedicated in one way or another to supporting the nation building efforts of the Métis Nation. I'm definitely gonna take some time to be with my family, but I foresee finding different ways to stay involved, of course, and continue to serve the nation in different ways.
Consider like running for a federal election? There's one that's happening next year.
That would be a conversation that I would have to have with my family. Thank you very much, everyone.